you come at Trump with all the tweets and stuff like that, but I think it's a very similar storyline that like with Trump with Obama. Like Trump criticized Obama heavily and then kind of like, well, I'll put my money where my mouth is and run. Now you've said like, oh, there's a 10% chance. Do you feel like there's some kind of responsibility since you criticize him so hard that you need to step up and go, well, I got to run then because I keep criticizing him?
It's family first.
Okay.
Right? So if I was single, I'd be doing it, right? And I would be all over it. But it's so tribal, and I just don't want to put my family through it, right? And particularly if they're not ready for it, and right now they're not. But there's part of me that just wants to go, and for that very reason, right?
Yeah.
You can't just talk the talk; you got to walk the walk. And so,
how do you walk the walk then? Since you've been so critical of him, what do you do to show that you are willing to walk the walk?
Well, you do actually program. So, like traditional politician, including Trump, walks in. He says, "Okay, I want to make things better for working families. Of course,
right.
I want to fix health care. Of course." But when he tries to fix health care, he says, well, Congress didn't do this for me, right? To me, that's the wrong way. You walk in and I would say, here's my program, right? I put together this health care program. I'm actually working on one.
Okay, right. Good. I was just going to ask you that question.
So it's getting scored by 2 different economics firms, and it looks like it could save us a lot of money. It takes insurance out of the equation. Wow. Same with tax reform, right? I'm all for simplification, but you can't just lower taxes on guys like me and think it's going to change my behavior. So it's not. And so, it's something I would do differently. I would take the 5,000 top companies, and I'd say, look, if you want me to cut your taxes down to 20% for effective corporate tax rate, then I need a commitment from you to increase the wages of your hourly employees by 10%. Right?
But how do you make them live up to that agreement? So how do you make them hold them?
The same reason that people use the same way that people use social media today.
Okay.
Right. So if the head of General Electric, just to pick them out of the air, right, comes and says, if you cut my corporate tax rate, I'll give them a raise, and doesn't do it, how do you think all his employees are going to respond? What do you think it's going to be like for him to go to work?
They get held accountable by default.
Because he's just going to take his money and run, though. He's like, I'm going to take my tax break. He's going to care. Okay.
It's just like when you see bad social media events for different companies. They care.
Okay.
So when you have all your employees killing you on social media, you're going to care. And it's going to change the culture of that company, and it's going to impact your performance. So, it would work.
Have you ever been held accountable at something in your companies? Because you have a lot of people under you. Something that you promised, and someone said, "Hey, Mark, what happened to that thing?" What's your response? What's your response? Is it an automatic fix? Is it
Yeah, well, it just depends on what it is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean,
if there's something
probably
specific.
Early on.
Sure.
If I'll give you a raise if we get to this, and if we didn't get to it or whatever, and I ended up giving the raise. I guess I don't know. I mean, nothing comes to mind, Scott, but.
I believe it's you too. You do that when it comes to working for you. You do that whole bonus structure, isn't it? Where you go ahead and give them the bonus ahead of time.
Well, no. Okay, so back in the day, right?
Yeah.
My first company, I was like, So there's this whole thing like if you give somebody a car, right, and said if you don't do your job, you don't hit your numbers, I'm going to take it away. Then it's a lot. Guys will work harder because or women too. They don't want to be the person that loses the car.
Right.
Right. You don't want to give it up.
Or money it's already spent. You're
right.
Like, I don't have to pay that back.
Well, that's exactly right. And so. Because there's only a couple companies like the Mavs and stuff that I run right now. So I try to pre-incent where possible. I try to set specific incentives that people can hit, and I always try to give stock. Like the Mavs, I'm not going to sell them, right? But like when we sold broadcast.com, out of 330 employees, 300 became millionaires. When I sold my first company, Micro Solutions, I took, we sold it for $6 million. We took $1 million of it and gave it to employees.
Okay.
And so, I try to make it so people, if I make money, you'll make money.
You have this amount allotted money. You can do whatever you want with it. So if someone comes up and you think they've been having a rough day, you can give them a free cup of coffee.
Absolutely.
And it's like that kind of empowerment.
Yeah, we're doing it with the Mavs too, and try to do it with all my companies. So like, people have come in, they've gotten scam tickets or whatever. It's just like, no, just get them a ticket.
Get them a ticket. Take care of them.
Someone had something happens, they spill, so just get them a new hot dog or whatever.
Mavs Nation, you've been so good to everyone, and every time we've talked to you about helping, especially even when Shad ended up passing away, and you said he's part of the family and want to help with the funeral expenses, and you were all over it out of your pocket. One, thank you, that was amazing, but I think it is a testament to leadership and the Mavs organization.
Look, I'm the luckiest MF in the world, right? And I count my stars every single day. I get to live the life I want to live.
Yeah.
Right?
Except for making Grammy records.
It's so true.
Except for
my life's a failure. I gotta go.
No, come on, it's a dream.
No, but so like with the Mavs, we've cut ticket prices. if I'm making money, I'll use that money. I'll put some in my pocket. I'm not saying I don't, but I'll use that money to cut ticket prices. So we've got 4,000 tickets for every game now for $19 or less.
Yeah,
now they go fast, right? They sell. But, go to 214-747, call 214-747-MAVS or MAVS.com.
Yeah.
But I want to make it affordable. Like, we've got thousands of tickets that cost less than parking at AT&T Stadium.